Nelson Mandela's critical condition is cause for great concern, and SA's Reserve Bank may be forced to tolerate a high inflation rate. I'm Richard Brooks. Former President Nelson Mandela's critical condition is cause for great concern. That's according to Congress of Traditional Leaders President Patekile Holomisa. Mandela has spent more than 2 weeks in the Heart Hospital in Pretoria. He's being treated for a recurring lung infection. Holomisa was speaking at the Mthatha airport.
They do wish that a miracle might happen, that he recovers again and be his old self. But at the same time, they are aware that there's a limit to what miracles you can have.
Labour Federation COSATU has described Madiba as an icon who brings hope to all South Africans. COSATU's Sudumu Dlamini has wished Madiba well.
And even in the moment of his peace in the hospital, we know that he's a strong man. We know that he's a fighter. We know that he represents the hope of South Africans, of the workers, the world over. Our prayers are with him, and we continue to wish him a recovery.
Passenger rail agency PRASA says more than 30,000 people will be employed in its partnership with French company Alstom to build new high-tech passenger trains. The entire fleet will be built within the next 10 years. Edwin Itsidi has more.
PRASA CEO Lucky Montana says they've secured 40 billion rand from government to make the project a success. 790 million rand will be allocated for skills and development training for all new employees. Over the next 10 years, they will employ 33,000 people. Montana says these world-class trains will ensure that all South African commuters have safe and reliable transport for the next 50 years. The trains will be manufactured here with the assistance of local companies. Edwin Nsidi, SABC News in Sandton, north of Johannesburg.
Reserve Bank Governor Jill Marcus says the bank may be forced to tolerate a high inflation rate because of the dilemma posed by weak economic growth and a soft rand. Marcus was speaking at an event in Westcliff in Johannesburg. She says there is limited scope at the moment for effective monetary policy interventions. Marcus expects inflation to remain at the top of the target band or slightly above it for some time to come. But she says she expects inflation to eventually start declining.
On the other hand, we are seeing increasingly strong upside risks to the inflation outlook, primarily coming from exchange rate developments. Had these pressures been simply a result of excess demand pressures, the response would have been relatively straightforward. But this is not the case. There are a number of issues that we have to consider in our decision-making. To what extent is the depreciation going to be sustained? Will the currency continue to depreciate, settle at current levels, or has it overshot, in which case it will strengthen at some stage? This is critical in terms of the extent of the pass-through to inflation.
Trade Minister Rob Davies says there will not be any serious discussions on South Africa's volatile currency with the visiting US President Barack Obama. Davies says while government remains concerned about the abrupt shifts in the local currency, movements in the rand can also offer opportunities. Obama is expected in the country on Friday. The volatility in the rand is often attributed to foreign money coming from developed economies such as the US seeking higher yields in developing countries.